Welcome to The Explainer, where we break down the big topics using the data behind the headlines. Today, we're looking at India's monumental challenge and its really innovative strategy to fight air pollution.
Okay, let's just start with a number that's, well, it's hard to even wrap your head around. A full 99% of India's population breathes air that's dirtier than what the World Health Organization considers safe. I mean, think about that. That's pretty much the entire country living under a constant health threat.
And the cost to the economy? It's just as shocking. The World Bank figures that welfare losses, we're talking healthcare costs, lost workdays, all of it, add up to about 7.7% of the nation's GDP. That is a massive, massive drag on the economy.
But beyond the money, of course, is the human cost, which is just staggering. We're talking about an estimated 1.2 million premature deaths every single year just from outdoor air pollution. And get this, that figure doesn't even touch the impact of pollution inside people's homes.
So yeah, this is way more than just an environmental issue, right? It's a full-blown public health crisis and an economic emergency, all rolled into one. Okay, let's get into it. Now, here's a really crucial paradox. India has actually gotten more efficient. It's reducing the amount of pollution it creates for every bit of economic growth. So what's the problem? Well, the economy is just growing so incredibly fast that the sheer volume of new activity is completely wiping out those gains. It's the classic one step forward, two steps back scenario.
So, the official game plan for all this is something called the National Clean Air Program, or NCAP. It sets these pollution reduction targets for cities. But, as we're about to see, the whole program is running into a major complication.
Which leads us to the big question, right? If there's a national plan in place, why are pollution levels still so dangerously high all over the country? Well, the answer really boils down to the details of the plans themselves and the very nature of pollution.
So when you actually start digging into these city action plans, a few things just jump right out. First, a whopping 74% of the proposed actions are just, well, they're institutional. We're talking more studies, new committees, not actually doing things to stop pollution. And second, because there's not enough local data, plans often just get copied and pasted. I mean, get this, in Uttar Pradesh, 14 different cities were handed the exact same 56-point action plan.
But here is the real kicker, and it's all about the science. Pollution doesn't care about maps or state lines. This stuff, the fine particulate matter, PM 2.5, it's so tiny and light that it can just hang out in the atmosphere for days, drifting hundreds, sometimes even thousands of kilometers with the wind. And this chart just lays it out perfectly. Take a huge city like Delhi. A mind-blowing 2/3, 66% of its air pollution actually comes from outside its borders. So think about that. Even if Delhi managed to become perfectly clean overnight, it would still be facing a massive pollution problem from its neighbors. A city-by-city plan just can't work on its own.
So what this tells us is that the solution has to think bigger than just one city. But also, and this is the really cool part, it has to think way smaller. The first part of the answer involves going hyperlocal, literally fighting pollution block by block. So this new approach is all about data, and it's happening at the most granular level you can imagine. Surveyors are literally walking through neighborhoods, ward by ward, mapping every local source of pollution. They use that data to create something called a composite ward score, which helps city officials pinpoint and prioritize the specific areas that need action the most. No more generic copy-paste plans.
And what are they looking for? Well, it's all the stuff the big national plans tend to miss, right? It's the dust from a road that's never been paved, the smoke from somebody illegally burning trash, the fumes from a local construction site, and even the smoke coming from household cooking fires. This is the ground-level data that makes targeted action possible.
But you know, cleaning up dust and garbage at the local level is only half the story. The other half is way more ambitious. It's about redesigning the entire economic engine that's creating so much of the pollution to begin with.
And this is the big idea right here. It's about a fundamental shift away from our current linear economy, the whole take, make, dispose model, and moving toward what's called a circular economy. In a circular system, waste isn't the end of the line. It's actually designed out of the system from the start. Waste becomes a resource. It's brilliant, really.
And this isn't just some abstract theory either. This idea is being put into practice right now across some of India's most important economic sectors, everything from high-tech stuff like solar panels and batteries to big foundational industries like steel and construction.
So let's take agricultural waste. For years, farmers would burn leftover crop stubble, creating these huge choking clouds of smog. But with this circular model, that same stubble gets turned into valuable biogas. So you not only stop the pollution, you actually create a brand new source of income for farmers. You turn a problem into an asset.
And it's the same story with construction. This is just so smart. All that rubble and waste from a demolition site, it's not just getting dumped in a landfill anymore. Nope. It's being collected, processed, and turned into brand new building materials like paver blocks. You're literally turning a liability into a valuable asset.
So what's the big takeaway from all this? I think it's that there is no single magic bullet solution here. The only way forward is to be integrated, to connect all these different pieces from the national level all the way down to the local and the economic.
And this is what that integrated strategy really looks like. You need the big, top-down regulations for power plants and industry. You absolutely need that empowered, data-driven action at the city level using those hyperlocal maps. And all of it has to be built on that fundamental redesign of the economy, the shift to a circular model that sees value where we used to see waste.
You see, this is the approach that finally connects all the dots. It's about understanding that the air quality in a city is directly linked to a farmer's decision hundreds of kilometers away. It's realizing that public health is tied to the design of a battery and the efficiency of a recycling plant. It demands that everyone, at every single level, works together.
What we're looking at here is one of the most ambitious environmental turnarounds ever attempted. It's a complete rewiring of an economy and a society to put clean air first. It really is a blueprint for a healthier, more sustainable future, which leaves us with one final and very critical question. Will it be built fast enough?